So number one, they're extremely engaged. And
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the best word. They're engaged. They're extremely prepared. So they know, sometimes they know more than the HR team does about their own company. They'll walk in. So they do their homework, right? Number three, they understand, and you hear this buzzword a lot about culture fit and other things, but they they know that going into it on day one, it's about culture fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the really successful leaders, they're always looking for a symbiotic relationship, right? Where they can help out the company that they might end up at, but it also has to be a fit for them as well, for as a candidate, as an employee, as a person. So I think those are the three or four things, right? Being engaged, showing up prepared. Number three, right? Which is sort of just doing your homework, as well as part of being prepared. And number four is making sure it's a symbiotic relationship. But that's sort of the common denominator that I see all across the board. And we're working with people that are making from $300,000 a year to 4 to 5 million. So some of the very things you use today, like I know them personally, right? Some of the products you use today, I know the people running those companies, but all of them have those four characteristics. That's the secret. So these C-level guys, I mean, it's something as simple as, and this is a really simple thing. I run a recruiting company. It's, hey, Greg, you got your kid running, your kid just graduated college. Why don't you have us fix the resume and get his LinkedIn together so you don't have to worry about that? And we're not going to charge you for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's something as simple as that, right? Costs
Yeah.
nothing to do. And, when Greg's CEO of a company needs to hire people, he thinks of George's friend, the recruiters, his buddy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how you get unfair competition, right? And that I love when it's unfair, because that's at the level I'm at, the level we're playing at, it's all about unfair competition. And you need to learn how to be, if you had somebody that said, hey, like, how do I get on podcast? You're going to say, there's a guy who I know, who I interviewed, his name is George. You should talk to George, right? And sometimes that conversation turns into a business opportunity. Maybe your buddy is looking to hire people, or maybe they're looking to, so you just have to give, and the rest comes back to itself, so that's the trick. It's also very hard. I mean, quite frankly, there's like, in terms of the sales environment, you have to be an expert at the sales part of it. Even if if sales is not your core skill, maybe it's not you're not great at it. You still have to learn how to dominate that a little bit, because, it's just, you're not going to be able to hire the right people if you yourself have not sold that product. You're just developing it. But the great question is, have you done it before, right? And it's like, if the answer is yes, then okay, cool. You passed test one. If the answer is no, then it's going to be a tough, and you see this is why they have boards, and this is why they have investors, right? The investors try to give them guidance. I'm a different business guy the second time around than I was the first time around, right? So, just a different, I'm all about processes. I'm all about people. I'd rather hire, before I would only hire people that had university degrees. Now I'm like, well, I mean, I guess it's a nice thing, but it's not the whole thing. And if the guy that runs my team, by the way, he went to college or university for like 2 weeks, didn't like it, quit. That's not for him. He's been with me for like 10 years. Right. And, he's just a smart guy, just really, really bright guy. He can read the situation before something happens.